Today, I wanted to bring to you the importance of pulling our consciousness into our bodies so that we can get to know ourselves better. And a lot of that's going to come through movement and how we move and how we begin to understand how the movement happens. First of all, when I start out with craniosacral therapy, one of the things I ask clients to do is to stop thinking, to just relax their brain and allow themselves to feel what's going on inside at a subtle level. The reason for that is because they begin to come inside, their thinking stops, everything outside stops, and they can begin to feel the magnificent movement patterns and the connections within our body. The body has a lot of consciousness to it. We don't get trained that way, we don't talk that way. A lot of people just think that the body's there to be there and move us around, but actually the body's pretty integral in our spiritual development as well. If we have a well-functioning body, if we are nourished right, if the nervous system is functioning well, if we have optimal function, if the cellular structures have the things that they need, the signaling molecules and other things like that, then we're going to be able to have a better brain function. And when we have a better brain function, then we're going to be able to connect better to the higher thinking and the higher thoughts and the higher parts of us that we're just beginning to learn about now. We've been in a world that's oppressed our thinking. We've been in a world that has given us a lot of stories. We've been in a world that has told us that we have to have help from chemicals in order to get better, when the truth of the matter is that our body can get better without a lot of help from things that are harmful for us. We may need to just reassess how we look at ourselves when we aren't feeling well and say, what's going on? How can I help you, body, to get well? We can take simple things, we can make it easy, inexpensive, learn how to do it ourselves, and we can avoid a lot of the misery and a lot of the destruction that we do to the function of our body by introducing more harsh chemicals or things that we don't really know how it reacts to our biology. Craniosacral therapy is the most important place for people to start, in my opinion, because there we're setting up the alignment of the body from the most subtle positions outward. The nervous system is being addressed first, and the dural tube, which is the winding, is being unwound so that from there on, any development that we do with the muscles is going to be able to be on the bones properly. And as we move with the hinge joints, with the ball and socket joints, and all of that, we're going to have the structure in alignment so that as we move these limbs around, we're not going to be off center to wear out the joint. It would be kind of like sometimes if our hips are out of joint or our cuboid bone is out of joint and our knee gets thrown out just a little bit, over time we're going to wear it out. Not any different than having wheels on a car, tires on a car that are just a little bit out of alignment. You begin to wear one side of the tire down. Well, that's going to happen with your knees, that's going to happen with your hips, that's going to happen with your back, that's going to happen with your neck. So that's why it's important to have that alignment. We'll be also exploring movement with the body and how to align it. And then the things that come out of it, the benefits of it, as you grow older, when you pay attention to this, you can still have a lot of movement potential. You can be strong and you can enjoy yourselves so much more when you're coming inside of that body. You have it well developed, you have it well nourished, your mind is operating well. You can find yourself into more exploration, which is what I've done, and actually feeling the two brain hemispheres working together with one another and giving signals to one another as far as a movement pattern that's coming. The structure will say, the left brain will say, yes, the structure is ready for it. The right side will say, I'm going to do this creative thing with it. And you can actually get to the point where you can feel that communication in the corpus callosum, between the two brain hemispheres. It's just another subtlety that you can find. But the body's going to do that regardless. So to be able to discover it and realize it's there is something that I've developed over time. But everybody's body is going to do that as they begin to develop their movement patterns. The other thing I want to say about movement is that There's a lot of ways to move, there's a lot of ways to stay fit. But the thing about movement patterning is if you're just going to do one thing over and over, like weightlifting, there's nothing wrong with weightlifting. It will build muscles. There's a purpose for it. But if this is all you're going to do, you're only going to develop a small number of neural pathways in your brain because you're only doing one movement pattern, and that movement pattern is going to get a muscle memory, and you're only going to need that. But when you start to give the body options to move, you have to develop more brain capacity. So you're going to have more neural pathways develop. So that's a very important thing to keep your brain going as you grow older. So there's a lot of exciting things that I hope that you'll find for you to explore yourselves, get to know yourselves even better, and come into a space where you just feel good about everything because you know who you are. So with that said, I want to thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.